If you have ever wondered how some people manage to save money without feeling deprived, let me tell you, Japanese minimalism is one of the biggest cheat codes I have ever seen. It is not just about clean rooms and empty countertops, it is a whole mindset that quietly saves you more money than you realize. Today, I want to walk you through the 5 ways Japanese minimalism keeps your wallet full. And honestly, I think everyone should try at least one of these. One of the biggest reasons Japanese minimalism quietly saves you money is because it trains you to need fewer things in the first place. And when you genuinely need less, you naturally buy less. I learned this the hard way. We are so used to filling our homes with backups, duplicates, decorations, and little just-in-case items that we often forget how much money leaks out through constant small purchases. But in Japan, the philosophy is flipped. People are intentional about what enters their homes. Every item needs a purpose, and if it does not, it simply does not make the cut. Imagine going through your house and asking, do I actually use this, or did I buy it because it looked nice at the time? That is exactly how many Japanese households operate. They keep what matters and let go of the excess. And here's the wild part. Once you reduce the number of things you own, your brain stops craving more. You are not thinking about the latest trends or seasonal decorations. You are not constantly hunting for storage solutions or reorganizing clutter. You just live with what works. It becomes a cycle of intentional buying instead of impulsive accumulation. Over time, this mindset creates a natural barrier against impulse spending. You stop buying throwaway items. You stop chasing the feeling of new. Instead, you focus on function, and that simplicity is incredibly freeing. Fewer things in your home means fewer things to maintain, repair, replace, or upgrade. That alone can save hundreds or even thousands each year. Another big piece of this is how minimalism changes your relationship with shopping routines. Instead of browsing stores for fun, you go only when you need something. You stop treating shopping like a hobby, and that shift alone eliminates a huge number of unnecessary purchases. Japanese minimalism is not anti-buying. It is pro-intentional buying. You still purchase what improves your life, but you eliminate the constant cycle of wanting more and more. What surprised me most is how this attitude also reduces emotional spending. When your home is calm, organized, and clutter-free, you do not feel that urge to buy something to feel better. You already feel good in your space, and that is the ultimate money saver. It is not about deprivation. It is about clarity. And that clarity leads to a lifestyle where fewer things truly does equal fewer purchases, month after month. One thing I love about Japanese minimalism is how it ties directly into the way homes are built. Japanese homes and apartments are famously small compared to Western standards, and while that might sound limiting at first, it is actually one of the smartest money-saving tools you can have. A smaller space instantly puts boundaries on your spending. There is only so much you can buy before the room starts feeling full, so you naturally become selective. And being selective is the foundation of frugality. Think about it. When you live in a large home, it is easy to accumulate stuff. You have extra closets, big garages, basements, guest rooms, empty corners, and endless wall space. All of that invites more purchases. A big home almost asks to be filled. But in Japan, the smaller layout flips the script. Every item needs to earn its space. If something comes in, something usually has to go. That built-in constraint is exactly why spending stays low. Small spaces also save money on the practical side. You spend less on electricity because small rooms heat and cool faster. You spend less on furniture because you only buy what fits. You spend less on cleaning supplies because there is simply less surface area to maintain. And you spend less time cleaning overall, which honestly feels like a bonus you cannot put a price on. Another thing people forget is that small spaces discourage upgrades. You are not buying giant TVs, oversized couches, or big statement decor pieces. Everything you buy is modest, functional, and space efficient. And when you cut out the pressure to upgrade to bigger or better items, your wallet immediately feels the difference. There is also a psychological benefit. When your living space is small, you notice clutter instantly. Instead of letting piles build up, you address them quickly. That constant awareness makes you rethink future purchases. You start asking, where will this go? Will this make my space more peaceful or more crowded? Most of the time, you realize you do not need it. Even grocery shopping becomes more intentional. Small kitchens and small refrigerators mean you buy fresh food in realistic amounts, which reduces food waste and saves money. You are not stocking up on bulk items that end up forgotten in the back of a massive pantry. You buy what you can use, and that simple habit saves more money than people realize. At the end of the day, small spaces act like a built-in financial filter. They make you thoughtful, disciplined, and practical without you even trying. And that is why Japanese minimalism proves that you do not need a big home to live comfortably. You just need a smart one. One of the most underrated parts of Japanese minimalism is how mindfully people consume things. It is not only about owning fewer items. It is about slowing down, asking questions before buying, and making decisions that actually align with your lifestyle instead of your impulses. When you adopt mindful consumption, the craziest thing happens. You start saving money without even trying, simply because you stop buying stuff that does not serve you. What I love most about this mindset is how simple it is. Before buying something, people often consider where it will fit, how often it will be used, and whether it genuinely adds comfort or efficiency to their life. That tiny pause is everything. It is the difference between buying on emotion and buying with intention. You are not fighting temptation. You are just thinking clearly, and thinking clearly saves you a lot of money. Another powerful part of mindful consumption is avoiding emotional buying. In many Western countries, shopping is basically a form of entertainment. We shop when we are bored, stressed, or excited. But in minimalist Japanese households, shopping is rarely a hobby. People go with a purpose. They get what they came for, and they leave. That alone cuts out a massive portion of random purchases that quietly drain your bank account month after month. Mindful consumption also helps you avoid clutter, which in turn prevents future spending. When your home is clean, open, and intentional, you are less likely to buy something that ruins the flow. You stop accumulating duplicates, backups you will never touch, and cheap items that fall apart within months. You start to appreciate the clarity of having fewer but better things. And clarity is addictive. Once you experience it, you do not want to go back to needless accumulation. This mindset even shows up in how people treat everyday items. Instead of jumping on trends just because everyone else is doing it, mindful consumers wait. They observe. They give themselves time to decide whether something is truly needed. That calm, patient approach protects your wallet from trend-driven spending and impulse buys that lose their charm within a week. In the end, mindful consumption is not about depriving yourself. It is about respecting yourself. It is about choosing what adds value and letting go of what doesn't. When you shift from impulsive buying to thoughtful buying, you spend less, enjoy more, and feel much more connected to the things you own. That is the heart of Japanese minimalism, and it is one of the most powerful money-saving habits you can adopt. One of my favorite parts of Japanese minimalism is how strongly it leans into the idea of choosing quality over quantity. It might sound counterintuitive at first because higher quality items often cost more upfront, but the long-term savings are huge. When you buy something that is built to last, you avoid the endless cycle of replacing cheap items over and over again. And that cycle is what quietly drains so much money from people without them even noticing. In Japan, this mindset shows up everywhere. Instead of filling a home with tons of low-cost decor, people choose a few well-made pieces that last for years. Instead of buying several pairs of inexpensive shoes, they invest in one solid pair that can handle daily use. Instead of grabbing cheap kitchen tools that break within months, they buy sturdy ones once and then never worry about them again. When you look at your belongings this way, you start treating purchases like long-term decisions instead of short-term excitement. What I really appreciate is that quality items often bring more satisfaction. They feel better, work better, and look better. You actually enjoy using them. And when you enjoy what you own, you stop craving more. You are not constantly upgrading or replacing. You are not browsing online for the next version. You are content. And contentment is one of the biggest money savers in the world. Another hidden benefit is that quality items reduce clutter. When you buy fewer but better things, your home naturally stays cleaner and simpler. You stop wasting money on duplicates or quick fixes. You stop stockpiling just-in-case items. High-quality belongings encourage you to own less overall, which ties right back into the minimalist mindset. The fewer things you need, the fewer things you buy, and the more money you keep. Quality also shines in how long items last. A well-made coat can last 10 years. A sturdy pan can last decades. A durable piece of furniture can stay with you for life. Every extra year you get from a quality item is a year you are not spending money on replacements. That is where the real savings happen. Choosing quality over quantity is not about buying luxury. It is about buying smart. When you focus on durability, usefulness, and long-term value, your spending becomes intentional. Your home becomes calmer, and your wallet stays fuller. That is why this principle is such a core part of Japanese minimalism and one of the most effective money-saving habits you can adopt. One of the most surprising things about Japanese minimalism is how powerfully it cuts your daily costs without you even noticing. Most people think saving money comes from big decisions like investing or budgeting. But honestly, a lot of your financial leak comes from everyday habits. And this is where minimalism completely changes the game. When you live with fewer things and make simpler choices, your daily expenses shrink naturally, quietly, and consistently. The first big area where minimalism saves you money is maintenance. When you own fewer belongings, you spend less time and money repairing, cleaning, or replacing them. Think about how many products in a typical home require constant attention. Appliances, gadgets, decor, clothing, and random tools. Each one takes a little bit of your time and a little bit of your money. Japanese minimalism strips that down to the essentials. You are maintaining less, which means you are spending less. It is such a simple shift, but it has a massive ripple effect. Another daily cost that minimalism reduces is energy use. Smaller spaces, simpler layouts, and fewer electronics naturally lead to lower utility bills. You are not running multiple devices all day. You are not using excessive lighting. You are heating or cooling smaller areas. Even cleaning becomes easier, which means fewer cleaning products and fewer hours spent scrubbing rooms filled with clutter. Over a month, that might not seem like much, but over a year, it adds up in a big way. Minimalism also helps you save money on food. In many Japanese households, kitchens are compact, storage is limited, and refrigerators are intentionally small. That means people buy only what they actually need and use. There is less bulk buying, less forgotten food pushed to the back of a giant fridge, and far less waste. When you avoid food waste, you immediately reduce grocery expenses without even trying. It is efficient, practical, and surprisingly freeing. Daily transportation and lifestyle choices also change under minimalism. When your focus is on living simply, you stop chasing convenience purchases. You cook more instead of grabbing takeout. You walk more instead of driving everywhere. You choose activities that do not revolve around constant consumption. Living this way cuts down on small costs like snacks, drinks, ride shares, and entertainment purchases that add up fast. What I love most about minimalism is that it never feels like restriction. It feels like clarity. You spend less because you need less. You need less because your environment stays calm, clean, and intentional. And when your daily costs drop naturally like this, your long-term financial health improves without stress or strict rules. That is the true power of minimalism. It makes everyday life cheaper, easier, and a whole lot lighter. So that is the beauty of Japanese minimalism. It is not about living with nothing. It is about living with enough. And when you combine intention, simplicity, and smarter habits, your money naturally stays in your pocket instead of slipping away on things you never needed in the first place. If you take even one of these ideas and try it out, you will feel the difference almost instantly. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will catch you in the next one.